who sucks. I put on there, be careful what you wish for, coming back to bite you. And boy, I saw a lot of people coming back at me.
Okay, there she is. Oh, no. Okay. All right, it is time for us to start the meeting. I'm calling to order the Community Taxpayers Association November 27th meeting. Would everybody please stand for the pledge and remain standing for a brief moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let's do a roll call. Greg Tribune, President, is here.
Sharon Allen, Vice President's here. Virginia Perry, Treasurer's here.
Planning board sergeant at large.
Since we're all present, we have a quorum, we can have a meeting. You've been given a copy of the minutes for our last meeting. Let's take a few moments and look it over.
Chairman, the Treasurer's report, the second figure should be 34369. $26. 34369. And the second,
Any other corrections or comments on the minutes? I move that we accept the minutes as corrected.
I'll second that one.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as corrected. Any comments before we take the final vote? All in favor of accepting the minutes as corrected, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved as corrected. Treasurer's report, please.
I sent the Treasurer's report out to everyone, and there's extra copies right there on the table. We had no income
Any discussion? A motion to accept the treasurer's report?
So,
We have a motion and a second. Is there any comments before we vote? All in favor of accepting the treasurer's report as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Is it unanimous? We don't have a guest speaker, so let's go into the county report. Virginia, would you want to give a county
Yeah,
report?
the county council, they finalized most of the budgets. We had three that we're still working on, soil and water. We did take away all the funding for the positions for soil and water. They have an independent board, volunteer board, and they were having some personnel issues, and so the only thing the council had a authority to do is to go into positions, funding for the positions, so that's what we did. So then we checked with the Indiana code and went back and we added one position back on. There had been three positions. We added one position back, a full-time 40-hour position at the same rate, and we left it up to the board to determine who that person might be. So hopefully they'll get their house in order and get the personnel issues straightened out. Also, Harrison Township, they're a district, and they pay a private corporation for their fire service. And we're still waiting on information from Dave Allison, but we are withholding the contract amount from their budget for next year, which I think is $62,000, because we want more information about how many employees they have, who they are, how much they're paying these people. And so they're supposed to be getting that information ready for us, so we're waiting on that. We still have not approved that contract. And also we're working with the Humane Society. We've got the same thing, we've requested information from them, specific information about income and expenses. They have the same situation. They have an independent board. And I guess in the past, they've never been asked to provide that. But since that's taxpayer dollars, we informed them that until they gave that to us, that their 2019 budget would not be approved and has not been approved as of today. So we're still waiting on the documentation as to where the money goes and if they receive what kind of income they receive other than what they get from the county council. So those are the three main things we're working on right now at the county council level.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Thank you, Virginia. Township reports. Do we have anybody that can give a township report? Trudy, would you tell us a little bit about Madison Township?
Well, I always think they spend way too much money, but, and they're not, accountable for it. That's the big problem, I think. But anyway, they have a proposed budget of $1,978,515, and I tried to get the final number, but I think it got approved for pretty much that amount, which was an increase over last year, and the tax rate from 2018 to 2019 is going up 13%,
Okay.
which is a huge amount. Huge. Yeah, who gets 13% raises? Not saying that they got 13% raises. I'm saying the tax rate, the adopted tax rate from 2018 to 2019 is a 13% increase.
Wow.
That's pretty significant.
It's very significant.
Jim?
The board didn't get a raise, the trustee didn't get a raise, I can guarantee that.
The
Yeah.
clerk got a raise.
Huh?
We
The
did,
clerk got a raise, and so did the the investigator
Yeah.
does nothing, but
She's a triple dipper, though. She's got 2 jobs there, and she's got another one going with the county.
Is there anybody else that could?
So how much money did she get to create the 13%?
oh, it's a, you know, I bring this up almost every meeting and say, look at townships that are our size. You know, all this stuff is on the website now, so it's very easy to analyze what we pay versus what everybody else pays. And like I've said, we are one of the top spending townships in the state. And we're not, you know, and our population is like 125th, but yet we're, what, 30th, 38th or something like that?
At one point, we were 11th.
And we seem to keep going closer and closer to the top, which I guess is our goal. I'm not sure what their goal is, but, and so it just keeps going, you know? They have 4 vehicles over there that they keep running gas through just to go, you know, they get to drive them to their homes and wherever. And we get to pay for all that. And then I can tell you this, it has to be another year or two, they're gonna have to have new vehicles, I'll bet. And those things aren't cheap.
We've got one on loan right now to Brown Township, but apparently they wrecked one of their engines, which nobody knew about even at the board meeting. So we loaned them 31, and I see it driving all over town here. So it's not Madison's driving, it's Brown Township on our gas problem.
When I'm talking vehicles, I'm talking the, you know, the fire chief and his assistants, that's what I'm speaking. I'm not talking about the actual engines.
Yeah.
They need that to go one township to another job.
But there's no accountability, you can't ask them for mileage, you can't get anything, you know, they just can do whatever they want with these. And, you know, when you ask a question like that, they'll, well, we can't write that down when we're going out on an emergency run. I said, you write it down when you come in. And it's the same when you're going back out, so you don't have to rewrite it. But they can't, there's just no accountability there. You have no idea what hours the clerk works. In fact, I've gone there and asked to pick up something, and I said, what hours are you gonna be there? She's told me, I take time off of work, go there, she's not there. So, you know, you have no idea. It's just unbelievable. I mean, I think she's making at least 30,000, or right at 30,000 for a few hours.
Okay, thank you, Judy. Any other townships? All right, city or town council reports. Has anybody attended a city or town council?
I missed the last 2 town council meetings, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay.
Danny?
Danny, have you attended any town council meetings?
Yeah. I wasn't prepared though.
Could you give us a little bit of an update on what's going on?
They're annexing and buying that property, the old Poly property out by Merriman Road, right just south of the business park there, like the industrial park. They're dropping $3 million on that.
What?
Yeah, the redevelopment commission is paying $3 million for that field. The town's going to annex it. And I guess the redevelopment commission is just going to, I don't know, refurbish it or whatever, or turn it into an industrial park. I don't know what they're going to do with it. But I know they dropped $3 million on that property.
That doesn't include the stuff up on the hill where Molly lives at.
No, so it's 2 sections, like the actual house property, but there's the big square, like the actual field.
Yeah.
Just south of the park there, all the way to Merriman Road. Like and their purchase price was $3 million, and that was through the redevelopment commission, and it's online if anybody wants to watch it.
Really like it was going out of style.
It's my understanding that's what redevelopment commissions do.
Yeah.
I think that's their purpose.
It's been our observation so far.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's been the biggest thing, I guess, is that the RDC voted to to buy that, and then the town council voted to annex it, so it'll be part of the town. And
But
I haven't quite gotten, I know the town council approved a financial plan, which when I asked about it, I believe is just, to plan for the money they'll need to install utilities and do the access and all that stuff to make it a business park. I don't know why a private investor isn't buying it and developing it, but I mean, I'm sure there'll be something on the town side for utilities and stuff like that. Supposedly that's what they approved at their last meeting.
Aren't there still several buildings in that park still unoccupied? In that business park?
There's a new one going up now. We went out and looked at it the other day. I'm working for the county surveyor right now, so I got out there. There's another one just southwest of the one's going up now. It's going to be put up. They haven't broke ground on it yet. But we have to verify that they start and everything for tax if we get any out of it.
the redevelopment commission's last project, South Bridge, that's going over so good too.
Well, I think the last project was the Gateway, right?
Well, yeah.
But as far as I know, they have not sold Southbridge. I know it is up for sale. So I don't know if that's going to recoup any taxpayer money or where that's going to go when they sell it, or be interested to find out. But I know on the Brown Township side, I know they voted to purchase the fire truck. I don't know when your last meeting was, so I don't know how aware of all that you are, but they're working through the process of borrowing that money for the fire truck. It's like $650,000, I think.
That was it. That was an interesting meeting. I'll listen to it.
Okay, thank you, Kenny. School board.
Talking about the, what redevelopment folks were doing. That started, I think, in the early 1990s. I was assistant superintendent for the school. The school has never received a penny. And that was very much more about my doing it, just sitting on the board, non-voting.
I'm a non-voting.
Non-voting. We were told here just recently there was no money, and then they spent $3 million on money, so whatever.
That's why they have no money.
Yeah.
There's money for
They
you.
always seem to find some money. We just had the election recently, and we had 3 members up for election, and they were unopposed. And so Dave Overley, who replaced Matt Swindle, he moved to Texas. Matt's back now, by the way, if you didn't know that. Lived down on the corner of Johnson and 144. And then Perry King at large, and Dave Mooresville, Perry King at large, myself, Brown Township. So we'll be sworn in January. Perry and me will be 3rd term. Dave, I guess, got 2.5. He came in from that. So there's some consistency there. Tax rate has not increased now for 10 years. The 2019 budget has been approved by the school board, and we've already told the state what the tax rate will be, which is the same as it was 10 years ago. And the legislature, though, did decide, for whatever reason, starting next year, 2019, the budgets are going to be allocated differently. It doesn't change the tax rate, it doesn't change the amount of money we get. But the general fund, which was always the biggest, paid the teachers, administrators, and a lot of things, is being called the education fund, and some things were taken out of there and put over in what's the operating fund. And the operating fund is the old bus replacement, transportation, and capital projects. They're just reallocating accounts. That's why I don't know. But, I have a theory, but, so that's good news. Tax rate 0.7874, same as it was in 2010. We're fiscally solvent. We're in good shape. And we've taken on the philosophy of, just like at home, you have to live with the money you get. And if you don't live with the money you get, then you got problems, and that's what we found when we got on the board in 2010. We were facing bankruptcy in 18 months, and Dr. Moore and I were lucky to be a part of that to help solve that problem. But we're in good shape. We're looking at building a transportation center, getting out of that old building we've got downtown there. So we're looking at that. We have a building trades class now. They're building onto the locker room of the football field, and they'll be involved in building part of that transportation center. There'll be some things they probably can't do. Well, you know, there's asphalt and stuff like that they don't do, but they'll be involved in building that. So once again, that's part of our budget. We planned for that for the last several years. There won't be any additional money needed. It's part of what we already have. We're having a discussion, and I'm not going to be able to give a lot of information tonight. I've been in a couple of meetings, but I should be able to in the February meeting. It kind of started with St. Francis and our superintendent. St. Francis wanted to build I think they called it a wellness center or a performance center. And it'd be open to the school and community, be open to everybody. They started talking to the school because they wanted a pool, and we have a pool. So the theory was, well, if we build it at the school, the pool's already there. It'd be a lot more expensive to build a pool somewhere else. And is it better accessible for people in town, at the school, than out of the hospital? You know, all those discussions have happened. I think right now it's moving toward, if we do this, and I won't vote for it if it raises taxes, but if we do this, I think it'll be at the school. I have a lot of questions about that, parking, some other issues. But those are ongoing discussions, probably been going on now for about a year. But there is an interest to do that and open that up to the public. There would be, places to swimming, which we have now, and there'd be other activities and to go on for wellness that people could go to and be a part of. So that's kind of in the, I don't want to call it the early stages, but it's been discussed for a long time now, but it's nowhere close to breaking ground. Let's put it that way. And I don't really have a fixed thing in my mind on the cost. How much, who's going to pony up how much money for it. So hopefully I'll come back in February with some more information about that. I think that's pretty much it. We're having school.
Thank you. Any questions?
I think it's important to remember that our group, Community Taxpayers Association, just a couple of years back, I forget, but knowing that they had held, the school board had held the tax rate at 0.7874 since 2010, we actually presented them with a commendation.
Yes.
For that, so that's good work.
Yes.
Larry and I know that 0.7874 in our sleep. And sometimes it's right there on my forehead, but it's not.
Well, and I was very much in favor of giving that accommodation because it has been such a significant turnaround to what, the school had been facing prior to that. And a lot of the citizens and the community taxpayers kind of got involved in some of that, or there was some overlap in the protests that were going on at that time. And it's, instead of, it was just such a, it was a big deal. You guys have done a great job.
Well, there were a lot of issues with that referendum back then. Was that like 2009 or something like that? But one that I know there were people that knew it, but a small number of people, a lot of people didn't know is that we were going in the hole. And it didn't make a whole lot of sense to build a new building and not be able to staff it.
Yeah.
We didn't have money to pay the staff we had. We ended up having to reduce our staff by 33 people in order to balance the budget.
Right.
Yeah, we were going to build a new building. So, didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much. We've already talked about the redevelopment commission in an earlier report. Is there anything else that needs to come up about the redevelopment commission in addition to what we've already mentioned?
Just this, that as the school appointed representative to that group, non-voting, do attend the meetings and listen and continue to speak up disclosure things, and for the most part, in general, I believe that's improved, done better. And have even had some members suggest some things, such as helping with some of the security stuff that the school was going through, although it never materialized.
No.
Those things do get discussed, and then the only thing that I said in executive session, and having spent 46 years in school business, I respect executive session, so I can't say everything that I hear. But yeah, I can tell you that the purchase of that property out there has been in works before I even got assigned to that. It's been going on for a while. Obviously, you don't pay $3 million for a piece of land like that to farm it. So there is kind of I don't know, but there is kind of another plan. Yeah. In that area that they're working on. And once again, I would applaud full disclosure on that. And it's not for me to say because I don't have a vote. So it is something that's in the works. And on Southbridge Crossing, I would tell you that I think there's a lot of details to this stuff, but I think the sale of that is pending and probably imminent to commercial hope so. That will be a good thing if that happens. And I think one of the biggest improvements that's happened, Danny, is Shane, you, others have started putting all the meetings, the redevelopment commission, town council, they're available for people to see. And if they couldn't make the meeting or forgot the meeting, if they want to see it, they can go find it. I don't know about technology, you can tell them about that. But if they want to go find it, they can go watch one of the meetings. And I think that's a great thing. I think that needs to keep going. So, kudos for that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, anything else? All right. Hearing nothing, let's go into new business. The first thing on new business, I would like to bring up Title 36, 8312. That was a law that previously gave exemptions to police and firemen to the conflict of interest laws at that time. That caused some significant problems because, for instance, what I saw was like Madison Township back in 2002, their budget, their certified budget was only about $400,000. And when Madison Township put a fireman on their, as trustee, that changed and it started increasing their budget as fast as they could several years in a row. And in 2006, they weren't satisfied. They also put in 3 firemen on the board as from their advisory board. So now they had a complete conflict of interest, in my opinion. And when I brought that up, it was pointed out to me that Title 36, 8312 made exemptions for firemen and policemen. So it wasn't really a conflict of interest. So at that time, the Community Taxpayers Association, somewhere around there, got formed, and it started fighting the conflict of interest issue. And as a result, in 2012, a new version of the Title 36, 8312, and I handed out a copy of this. The new version was passed. The main thing in Title 36,
12, it now says it is subject to Indiana Code 359. Now, I've made copies of the pertinent sections of 359 so that you can take a look at it. And I highlighted, for instance, in section 4, it says that section 4 is about firemen and volunteer firemen. And it says that a unit's fire department, that people may not assume or hold an elected office if that unit receives fire protection from the fire department in which this person serves. So in other words, if this person is a fireman, he can't hold office under for the unit that is overseeing the fire department. Now, it also talks about full-time firemen, and it essentially says the same thing. Then in section 5, it talks about other government employees, and it just says that if an individual takes office, then he's considered to have resigned as a government employee. Now, there does make a comment about there's an exception, and that is in section 7. And I listed section 7 title here. It just says here if they were, and basically what section 7 says is that if they were already holding office at 2013, well, that's been so far back. Essentially, it says that they could, if they held office in 2013, they could continue serving out their term. They got to serve their full term, but they couldn't run again. That was the main thing. Well, that's long past. That's pretty much obsolete now. Okay. Well, I bring this up because Madison Township now has someone that has been elected, hasn't taken office yet, hasn't been sworn in yet, but they will be serving on the board, and they are the spouse of a full-time fireman. There's also a situation in Mooresville where the wife of a policeman has been elected to the town council. Both of those situations, I contend, are in direct violation of 359, which means they would be in a conflict of interest. Now, I've had people mention to me that it doesn't say anything about spouses, but when I brought this up, that very thing came up back in the previous situation when we were fighting the conflicts of interest in Madison Township. That one of the situations was a spouse then, and what I was told is that it doesn't matter whether it's a spouse or the person themselves, that it's the same household income that is affected, and it doesn't make any difference that the spouse is the same as a fireman or a policeman in the eyes of the law in that case. So I'm comfortable that the situations that I'm talking about in this particular situation, it is a conflict of interest. What do we do about it? do we, as the community taxpayers, want to get involved like we did before when this came up? I think we should. That was a very important issue. Now it's not only in Madison Township, it's also Mooresville. I think we should get as involved as possible. That's my opinion. I have written a possible letter to the Secretary of State, Secretary Connie Lawson, and I've handed out copies for everybody. What do you think about the letter? Should I hand that in as, should I sign it and send it in as a citizen, or should I change the letter and send it in as a president of the Community Taxpayers Association?
Well, I think we need to get a ruling from Connie Lawson after all. She's over the voting and election. And for one, I think we should do it as community taxpayers.
Well, one more little detail. Connie Lawson sponsored the bill that was passed
Right.
that changed the law at the time.
Yeah, she did, that's true.
So she, as the primary sponsor, the initial sponsor of the bill, she will take it very personal, I think.
I guess I'm a little confused.
Okay.
Where does it say in 359 that there's a conflict of interest if it's not only a firefighter but a spouse? I don't see that written.
It doesn't say it, but like I said before, when I brought it up, it came up several years back when we were initially finding the situation. Senator Bray and Connie Lawson both said at the time that it, in the eyes of the law, it's the intent was not to put someone in control of their own personal income like that.
Well, no, I understand. That makes sense. The problem I have is
It doesn't
if it
spell it
doesn't
out.
say it in the law, then a judge, if this ever went, that far along, would throw it out in a heartbeat because the law doesn't say it. I think and I'm not saying that it's right, because I tend to agree with you that, a lot of these firefighters deal with these township budgets as their own little piggy bank, and they are feathering their family nest without any oversight. But I think until we can get the law changed, that it says specifically that any family member of a firefighter is prohibited from holding office, then I don't think we can get very far with, whether we think it's right or wrong, because, if it ever ended up in court, I can't see a judge saying, well, yeah.
Well, I think we need to pursue it one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, and if that's what you want to do, I'm personally all for that.
Want to get her opinion on it,
Yeah.
whether she would know.
Yeah.
Well, I doubt if her opinion has changed from, 8 years ago. Was it 8 years ago? Trudy?
Well, if you read this letter, it says, I'm writing to make you aware, okay? So she's aware. It doesn't say anything here about asking her opinion, what we can do about the situation, or anything in this letter.
Okay.
You're just giving her the facts and saying, okay, this is the situation in our township.
Yeah,
I think the letter needs to at least state, what can we do to rectify this? What, is there any legal grounds we have? Something in there to, other than just
All
an
right.
informative letter.
I think the letter needs to be rewritten. And I think it needs to.
A third paragraph could be inserted into this letter pretty easily, and just said,
Please advise for.
ask for her advice.
Right.
What do we do now? How do we,
Right. And I have another question.
yes,
Okay, so you're talking about conflict of interest. Is that totally different than the nepotism?
yes.
Okay, because on this nepotism thing too, each elected officer of the unit must annually certify in writing, subject to the penalties for perjury, that the officer has not violated the nepotism law, and submit the certification to the executive mayor, town, whatever, of the unit no later than December 31st of each year. So I don't see how they can sign something like that, because it seems like they would be in violation of the nepotism law as well.
Yeah. I think that there's also a case for it being nepotism, but in this particular case, I was just attacking it from the conflict of interest because of the fact that it says here that they may not assume or hold an elected office.
Because in the nepotism part, it does say relative means any of the following: spouse, parent, step-parent, child, stepchild, an adopted child, a brother, sister, stepbrother, niece, nephew, aunt, uncle, daughter-in-law, son-in-law.
Yeah.
So it goes into quite a...
But what a nepotism law, what it generally would do is that it would prohibit me from being my son's boss.
But it wouldn't... Okay, but...
Isn't that exactly what's happening as the person serving on the board is overseeing the budget and the pay for
Well, the thing
the
is, that
spouse?
it talks about direct line of supervision, though.
But it says elected official means the township trustee, a member of the township board, the township small claims court, judge, or constable. I don't know, I'm just...
I kind of agree with Trudy. I was reading through this law. The law states firefighter and policeman, we know, also in another
Or
section.
maybe that question could be put into that letter and say, you know,
Yeah, what
are they breaking both laws? Are
Or
they
which?
breaking only one of them? If they are, how do we enforce it?
Okay, that sounds real good. I like that. We can add that to the letter as well. I'll definitely rework my letter and
And
send
definitely,
out copies.
definitely ask how do we go about enforcing this? You know, what's
Yeah.
our
What is
step?
the code on that section that you were mentioning?
36-1-20, .2, and then there's, again, the .2-9A, and there's all kinds of,
Where's it start?
I think it starts with the 20.2.
20.2? Okay.
36-1.
36-1-20.2.
Very good. Thank you.
But
I know.
didn't it, when you read it the first time, didn't it say something to the effect that those officers that were identified had to sign a statement, and that statement had to be...
And see, this is, every township has to make their own, adoption, whatever. So I don't know if some of them might change some of the wording. I'm sure the state came up with most of this wording. And this is the resolution of the Madison Township Board. So like Jim probably signed this.
Which one, the nepotism thing?
Huh?
You talking about the nepotism thing? I
Yeah.
didn't sign it, and got written up for it. State Board of Accounts wrote me up for not signing it.
You've never signed it?
I did this year, because I was told by the lawyer I had to.
So, I
Okay,
mean,
so here, let me go back a step. So if that statement has to be sent in by December 31st, what about the issue of the fire chief and his brother being on the fire department? Isn't that a form of nepotism?
Yeah.
you all thought it was.
Address that.
I
I think it is, I still believe it is, and the lawyer got around it, and reduced
But
the
there's no
salary.
getting around it. If he signed it and says there's no nepotism, well, he's perjuring himself.
Well, but he
Go
says,
after him for that.
see, it says here, direct line of supervision means blah, blah, blah. And then he comes out and says, well, I'm not in direct line of supervision. And they get a lawyer or you know, paid by us, wonderful taxpayers. And the lawyer says, no, you know, we're the ones wrong and he can do it. But now, do you know his brother is not working there anymore? His brother's no longer employed there.
He's gone.
He's gone,
Disability on us.
you know, another injury.
Are we paying for that?
Well, I know when I was on the
Problem.
problem.
He got injured on the job, did he? And we're paying compensation.
Probably
Yeah.
it's only part-time, it wasn't his main source, and he wasn't under my direct line of supervision, but even so, I wanted to be upfront and transparent, and I signed one, it was no big deal to me to sign one of those, it just wasn't. It was just a
If
best-
a person signs it, then what's the,
I think it goes to the state, it goes to the county first, and then I think it's sent in.
but that doesn't prohibit consideration.
No, it doesn't.
Steve Harris says that
Then that's not enough. That's not enough. And here, it says they can't take office.
Right.
And that's what I'm going for here,
live at your house.
because I don't want the conflict of interest to take place. You know, I mean, they can just sign a disclosure and get away with the nepotism, but this, there's no getting away with it, even if you sign a disclosure here on the conflict of interest.
You know, another thing that would be helpful, but I mean, not necessarily this, but you know, once somebody signs up to run, you have 1 week to voice your opinion against that person running.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Well,
unless
most
you read
generally,
this.
you don't even know
You
them.
don't know unless you read this, the stuff they sign.
Right.
Yeah, and like you said, generally when they sign up,
You don't even know
until after.
until later, and then it's like, because I talked to them down there about this Russell, and they said, well, it's too late now. You should have called earlier, and I'm like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I mean, that would be something.
Well, and I was kind of waiting to see, like with Hester here in Mooresville, if her husband was attempting to elevate himself like into the state police or something like that, and no longer be, and I was kind of waiting to see what if he was going to remain as, but if he's still on as city police, then she shouldn't be there.
Right.
One of them has to leave.
Well, Section 5 says that an individual is considered to having resigned as the government employee in that case. You know,
Right. That's if they hold the office, though,
That's what they
the way this reads.
I know that is, but still, if what I was told previously, that a spouse is the same, you know, and like I said, previously, that this previously was back in 2009, 2010, when we were fighting it originally, 8 years ago.
I think we need to find out for sure if that's still,
Yeah.
if that's, because it's
I
not
doubt it.
stated, it
I
could be used
I
as a
don't
loophole.
expect that to be different now. But we're,
Well, I still think, if it isn't in the law,
Right,
then it's okay.
I'm concerned about that,
Well,
that
I
that's gonna
think,
be.
that's why I think the letter, Greg, I think you did a great job on the letter, but I think what I would suggest is, if you're gonna, and I don't have a problem with you doing this as the president of the Community Taxpayers Association, assuming the other people would agree, but I think what you need to do is have a paragraph in there that says that it was our understanding when this law was first passed that it would include the spouse of a volunteer firefighter or police officer, or this is just about firefighters. And it was told to us that was the way it was, or it was intended to be. is that the case?
Yeah,
And then I guess I'm a little hesitant to identify the two individuals by name. I think I would be more.
Why not?
Well,
it's public information.
okay, that's fine.
I'm just, anybody else have a problem with that? No.
But I think everybody's got to be a little clear about why you're writing, and you were under the impression that these particular provisions include spouses, because you were told something to that effect. Is that the case? And then that way, then you're setting up for her to offer your opinion. And if it isn't, then you've got the basis then to decide whether you want to go and change the law to make sure that it includes spouses. But I'm not sure, that's going to necessarily stop these two from assuming office.
I'm sure that there's a possibility that one of those could change before January. I'm sure that's a possibility. I don't know whether you still want to mention it or not because we don't know at this point. But what you mentioned about,
Oh, with him leaving,
well, I mean, you know,
go, yeah.
so,
Well, that is, the way I was concerned about it too, is that, we needed to wait until.
Nothing's wrong until they assume office.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but
That's what I'm saying.
I think you'd want to know ahead of time.
Yes, we'll want to know.
I mean,
We'll wanna
I'm
know
not
what-
saying, there's nothing you can per se do probably ahead of time, but I would want to know what the law really stands for. You don't wait till after you have the problem. I'd want to know ahead of time.
Exactly.
And we have the situation now, we know these people are going to take office.
Well,
If they're,
I want to be able to hit the ground running.
I
Exactly.
agree.
Yeah.
That's what makes some guidance on where it would go. Who enforces
Yes.
these laws? If it's a law, then, is it enforcement, or is it just one of those that just ignore, like most of the laws that they do?
Okay.
And be more specific on what they actually did. They're all full-time employees, the firemen and the policemen, not part-time. There are exceptions for part-time people, so they can do it.
and I think it's important in the third paragraph you're talking about. You need to make it clear that this is an inquiry. It's not an accusation. I'm wondering if I'm thinking along the right lines and what to do next. Can I have some advice on this situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, an opinion.
Probably going to say the election board should have picked up on it and didn't do anything. That's what they're going to say.
Was that really their,
They say that's not their,
I wouldn't think that's
they
their
say that we have that
responsibility.
1 week and that's what, I just don't think a week is enough time, especially when you have no idea who signed up.
Until it's,
But that's another question. When the election board, if it is the election board, and they don't pick up on it, where do you go from there? How about after that?
I don't think I just think they don't think it's their responsibility.
But they got all the information, it's right there on.
Well,
and I don't think it is, because it doesn't become a true issue until the person is elected. They have to go
Till
through
they-
the
till
election
they're sworn
process.
in.
And then, and when they're sworn in, and that's when it actually, the legal.
And they don't ask, well, maybe they do. They ask the employer or your spouse. I don't know, that might be more.
It's right here, yeah, it says it's a full-time police or a full-time fireman. Highest paid one.
Well,
No, I meant on the form when you
When you're
put your name in
filing
for
for office.
office.
but like 368312, section 1, may be candidates for elective office and serve in that office if elected. So it allows them to run. You know what I mean? So, right, you can be a fireman and run to be trustee.
Or a spouse.
That's why there's the provision that if you take that office, it's assumed you resign your other position.
Exactly, yeah, that's the thing. They can run, because first they have to make it through the electoral process. And then they have to be sworn in. And it's when they get sworn in that
That's
the
why we need
legal,
guidance of what to do then.
the legal
Yeah.
situation
issue
comes up.
actually come up,
Arise.
yes, yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
I haven't made a motion
All I
yet.
was asking, Dave.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to word it.
That's why I asked you.
Well, I guess the motion would have to be something to the effect that we instruct the president of the Indian Taxpayers Association to write a letter to Secretary of State, Connie Lawson, asking clarification on provisions found in 359, vis-a-vis the spouse of a volunteer firefighter member serving on the board that oversees the department.
Clarification of guidance.
Yeah, clarification and guidance. Yeah.
I will second that motion.
Clarification and guidance.
And make sure your letter's accurate. So.
Huh?
Make sure you say full-time employee, they're both full-time employees. It does address part-time and full-time in the law.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Well,
Section 4A talks about part-time volunteer firemen, and 4B says essentially the same thing, but it addresses full-time paid firefighters.
Yeah.
So we, it covers both,
Well, just,
but
what I'm looking at is
second.
back to 2012, the
I don't know
legislature
if
summary
maybe nepotism.
excluded the part-time people. Full-time were the ones that couldn't do it.
yeah. Okay, 8312, you said excluded part-timers?
Yeah, you want a copy of it? I want the whole thing.
Is that the Madison Township part? I mean, is that Madison Township or the state?
For what?
That excludes the volunteer.
Well, this is the state legislation, Indiana election stuff.
Okay.
It's in a section prohibition of government employment for some office holders, and it labels that full-time.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for visiting the library today. This is a courtesy
I'm gonna get,
the computer
the citation, there.
I can run another copy, I'll just go home and print them out.
Okay.
Yeah, that one too. Page in this.
All right, thank you. Okay, we do have a motion on the floor at this time. Is there any more discussion on the motion?
I have to admit that I'm not clear. Some of what Dave said makes sense to me. Your point is well taken, but I think I'm okay with it primarily because what you're doing is making inquiry as to how to act should this come about.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Is there any other comments before we
Well,
vote?
I think it's a lot to take in, so I would agree, you just going back to your computer, revise the letter, I would want to see a copy of the letter before we have something.
Absolutely, I intend
So
to.
part of the motion would be that you would rewrite the letter based on comments you from the board tonight and submit it to the board for its review before you mail it out to them.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I will get everybody's approval before I send anything out.
so I think-
But I will be writing it as the president of the Community Taxpayers Association. Okay. Is there any more discussion?
I would just put in there too, toward the end, as much information as you can supply would be, beneficial for us, because you don't want just a quick, short answer from them. You want to have them give you some meat so you know what what our steps should be.
Yeah.
she's like,
What should our course of action be?
yeah, she may not get back to you right away, because if I were her, I would assume that I had a staff attorney, and I would turn it over to the staff, and they give us some
Well, you know, the meetings are gonna start the first week of January, and I don't see how somebody can be voting when their husband is benefiting from their votes. That's my
Well, if she were to recuse herself on anything that would affect her
I don't
husband,
see her
she
doing
would be
that.
worthless sitting on that board.
I don't see her doing, I don't see her reclusing herself.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, the letter can remember, but I think there is a timing issue here.
Oh, I agree, and I'm gonna be working on it, that, you know, and it's, well, maybe not tonight, but tomorrow for sure. And I'll be trying to incorporate, I took notes, I'm trying to capture as many ideas as I could. I feel that you'll probably have revision suggestions, but I'll send it. You want to be included on the,
I wouldn't mind,
okay,
appreciate it.
and you? All right. All right, so the board members plus 2. Okay. We have a motion, still current motion on the floor, and it's been seconded, I believe. All in favor of the motion as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I will revise the letter and get it back to you for approval. Virginia, you had a fundraiser that you had mentioned
Yes.
previously.
Yes, I put some of the flyers up there, the vouchers, they call them, to Applebee's, the dining to donate. That's December the 6th from 4 to 9 at the Canby Applebee's. And we can't get flyers out on the premises, so you can either take one here, I will email one to you. Anthony Woodside is going to put it in the paper, or if you have it on your phone, you want to take a shot at it on your phone, they will take that as well. So help yourself to those. If you need more, let me know. And Applebee's will donate 15% of our check, of their check when you check out for the community taxpayers. So pass those out as much as you can and circulate them around.
And everybody in the audience, take a handful with you. Hand them out.
And I have one other thing that's not on the agenda, if you're ready to finish with that.
Lost my agenda. Okay. Go right ahead.
Okay. Each year, the community taxpayers gives charity donations, usually to St. Thomas More Clay up here and churches in the mission. Last year, and I think the year before, or maybe even the year before that, we gave $100 to each one of those nonprofit organizations. And so I would like for us to follow suit this year and give the same amount to those same organizations.
You want to make a motion?
All right, that's a motion.
Okay. We have a motion to donate $100 to churches in the mission
And St. Thomas More Clinic.
and the St. Thomas More Clinic.
Our treasurer says we can afford to do that.
She says,
We're gonna take it out of the home bank account because I found out the money that's in there is from a raffle that we had. And as long as we take that money and give it to another nonprofit, we can do that. So we'll take it out of the home bank, the home bank account. Cool.
I'm the second. I'll second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. Any comments?
Just to make that clear, I think she's intending $100 each to both, okay, but that hasn't said, it's only been said $100, so.
To each, right?
Yeah.
To each.
Yes.
100 for each nonprofit. The ones that we mentioned. All right, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Is there anything else that needs to be brought up this time?
The fundraiser that we're gonna have out, we're not gonna sit there this time.
No. You show up, bring your flyer and,
Yeah.
or your phone and spend lots of money.
I would like to revisit my project, and that's writing a letter. If anybody has a chance, just jot down some of your suggestions. Give me some of the things that you wanted included in the letter, and just send them to me, and that might reduce the number of times I have to rewrite it. Because otherwise, I think I'll probably be rewriting it, and then you'll be adding something that I had overlooked or missed. So if you could just get some comments to me in writing, that'll probably reduce, maybe we'll get it done in 1 or 2 revisions instead of 3 or 4. But I want to get this done as quickly as possible, because I want to possibly have feedback by the first of the year. Okay? Anything else? We got some signatures.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We have a motion to adjourn, second. Anybody second? Awesome. We have a second. Any comments? All in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.